Are you joining me for the intro? Can you get your butt out of the shot? Hi friends, Quinn here, and in today's video I thought we would attempt a new series on the channel which I will be calling Battle of the Figures, and it's where we will be comparing two figures, maybe three, maybe sometimes four, but it'll be some figures of the same character. And I just thought this would be such a good idea because I'm someone that collects character shrines of certain characters that I really love, but I also thought it would be beneficial for people who kind of just want to get one figure of this particular character, and maybe this video can help them decide which one is best for them. And to start off the series, I thought we would start with a OC character that is quite popular right now and is getting a ton of figures from this illustrator. And that illustrator is no other than Rurudo. I have two of their illustration books which I recently picked up, and I thought I could show them off before showing off the two figures today. This one is the Sugar High volume, and I love the cover so much. I don't know if you can see, but look at that. I'll share some b-roll of some of the pictures inside, but I love Rurudo's art style so much. And Limland, which is a company I haven't heard of, they're actually making this figure and I'm so excited to see it. The sculpt already looks amazing, and I hope the quality, the outcome, and the paint job comes out just as good as the sculpt. Next up is this one. I don't actually know what it's called. Love It? I don't know, but basically it's a bunch of Rurudo OCs in bunny outfits, which is just so perfect. I love bunny girls and I love Rurudo, and this makes me feel like we're a step closer to a quarter scale bunny Rurudo figure. On the front cover is a new character. I think her name's Rabbi. I think that's her name. Is it Rabbi? No, I think it's probably Rabbi. It also came with this clear file of Rabbi as well, and I feel like she is the face of the Bunny Rurudo series. And again, more Bunny Rurudo characters inside. There's little character guides on some new characters and a bit of biography about them, which is also really cool, and I hope all of them get figures. Alright, that's enough of the illustration books. Let's move on to the actual figures themselves. I'll quickly show both of them off and then I'll start talking about each one individually. So these are the two figures I'm going to be talking about today. They're quite popular in the anime figure community right now. This one is Eve Body Harness version 1/6 by Pink Charm, and this one is Eve Usamimi? Eve Usamimi 1/7 by Golden Head. Now these two figures came out back to back pretty much. I think this one came out in July and this one came out in August, and I've been waiting for both of them to arrive so I can compare them and review them for you guys. Since this one came out first, let's talk about her first. Now, when this figure was announced, her initial release date was in February, but Pink Charm was very open about the manufacturing issues with her, and so she got pushed back to July. And I think something worthy to note with Pink Charm is when they show off prototype figures of any upcoming figures they're going to be putting up for pre-order, that's what you're gonna get. And I'm not saying that in a subjective way. Like, how do I explain this? Like, you know how some companies make a figure and then when they manufacture it, it's by a different company, or they use different material and then it comes out slightly different than the original promotional images? Pink Charm doesn't do that. Whatever they display at events or on their promotional images is made the exact same way when they make batches and manufacture like thousands of the same figure. I hope that makes sense. And honestly, she turned out so amazing. Now, if you're wanting to pick up this figure, you're kind of out of luck. I've seen on AmiAmi that her aftermarket price has gone above and beyond her retail price. I've seen her range from like 60 to 50,000 yen, depending on the condition she is, and that's like already double her retail price, which is so crazy. And I can honestly see why her price has skyrocketed since her release. She is such a well done figure, and I think by far this might be the best Rurouni figure that's in the market currently. There are some Rurouni figures out there that I just won't pick up because I'm not a huge fan of it, or either that the pricing is just too much for what it is. But when I look at this figure, she is just so perfect. I genuinely cannot pick out a single flaw when it comes to this figure. I'm gonna start off with her hair. I love that her hair is dynamic and flowy and it's delicate, and I love the shading on her bangs especially. The little bat wing detail accessories on her pigtails are also really cute. And although her outfit is quite minimal and she's not wearing that much, and it is an all-white outfit, shading is not lacking in that department, as well as details. All the crinkles on her top, the frills on her shoulders and her gloves and her thigh-high tights, as well as the harness that's around her body. I think that's such a small accessory, but it's so detailed. I love that the chain is a real chain. I think that's such a nice touch. And just overall, she's just such a delicate figure when it comes to her pose, her expression, the art style, her dainty hands. One of the biggest highlights for me when it comes to this figure is probably her wings and the lacy details on it. I think that's so beautiful. I will say though, this figure does come with one flaw, which kind of makes me feel bad to say because she's such a perfect figure in every way possible except for this small aspect. But the way her body harness connects to her is she has a hole on her chest or between her collarbones where you clip in the body harness, and it's meant to look like the top of the harness is connecting to her choker, but it just doesn't do that. And if you look closely from certain angles, you can see that there is a distinct gap, but not a huge deal breaker. I think the amazing quality of this figure makes up for that. I should also mention she is a cast-off. She does come with a separate upper body piece where she's not wearing clothing, and she does come with a postcard. I'll just show an illustration of the postcard. But yeah, I just thought that should be noted. Moving on to the other figure, the bunny version. I do want to quickly mention she does come with this bunny plushie accessory that just pops on her base, but I'm holding her up and I don't want to risk dropping that. Now, when I first saw this figure shown off at a figure event similar to One Fest, I don't know if it was One Fest specifically, but when I first saw her, me and a bunch of mutuals were like, oh my god, is this freeing? Is this a quarter scale? We couldn't tell, but it wasn't a quarter scale. It was a 1/7, and it was by Golden Head, a company that was fairly new at the time, and I didn't know much about them, but I have to say I fell in love quite quickly with the concept of this figure. I love bunny girls, and Rurouni is such a talented artist, and she's finally released, and it's not fair for her to come out just after the Pink Charm version, because that one has set a standard for a lot of Rurouni collectors, and we'll talk more about why this one doesn't really meet up with the Pink Charm version. But first off, let's start with her pros. First biggest pro is probably the concept. I'm in love with this concept, the outfit, the cute bunny ears. I think it's so adorable. I think her wings are very beautiful as well. Very similar to the Pink Charm one. She does have the lacy detail on the wings. And I think the clear translucent dress is quite beautiful. I like that it's mostly cute but with a touch of lingerie vibes. When it comes to her hair, I have two things to say about her hair. The first part I want to talk about is her pigtails. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but I think I do like the pigtails on this one more. I just love how dramatic it is, and I think the gradient from the purple to the lighter purple tips is a lot more gradual and less intense, but it's just mainly how dramatic the pigtails are. I love that so much. The second part I wanted to mention when it comes to her hair is her hair sculpt with her bangs. I think they're really nice. They're nice and crisp and they look dainty, but I think the gradient specifically with the bangs is quite harsh and I'm not a fan of it. I don't think it's cohesive with the rest of her hair. I don't know why they decided to make her tip of the bangs so much lighter than the rest of her hair, but yeah, I just think it looks a little funny. I think they captured her face really well as well. I will say I don't think she photographs the best. She just looks very, I can't explain it, like bland when you try to take photos of her. And I was worried when I saw photos of her when she first released, but now that I have her with me, she does look really nice. Okay, let's get into the cons. I do have a couple of bad things to say about her, unfortunately. The assembly of this figure was horrible. I find that when I assemble figures, even when they're a little more complex, I'm like, oh, not too bad. But this one was just a nightmare to put together. Every 5 seconds I was worried I was going to snap her. I kid you not, I was using all of my strength just to insert certain parts into the figure. Her wings at the back were quite difficult to get in, and even then they're not fully snug in, and I feel like if I moved her around too much the wings would fall off. But I had the opposite issue with her hair. Her hair was really difficult to come in, and if I decide to pack her up and disassemble her, it's going to be really difficult to take her hair out of her head because the peg to the hole was just way too tight. Like, I think the holes in her head might have closed up. I don't know, it was just such a difficult task. And same issue with the wings, they're still not fully fleshed in, and I've tried everything to push them all the way in. Although I am a fan of the clear lingerie dress, I do have concerns that it's going to turn an ugly color over time. I'm just worried it's going to look dirty or a little green over time, if that makes any sense. I think the biggest disappointment with this figure was probably her tights. Now, I don't know if it was just me, but when looking at earlier prototype pictures of this figure, close-ups of the tights, I swear they looked sculpted, and it looked so much more nicer than the final product. When I received her, or when photos were coming out, I just noticed that the white lighting of the tights was not 3D looking anymore, and yeah, they're printed on, and I think it looks cheap. And I don't like that they're shiny either. It just seems so low quality and a cop-out, which makes me so sad because this is a very similar price to the Pink Charm one, and yet this figure is smaller and the quality is not as good as the Pink Charm one. I'm not saying her quality is bad, but when you're comparing two figures, which is what this series is for, and it's the same character but they're different sizes but similar prices, it's kind of just interesting to see the price points manufacturers give out. And like, to be very honest with you guys, I don't know, again, if this is an unpopular opinion, but if she was a 1/6 and if she had better tights, I think I would like her a little more, or just as much as the Pink Charm one. I still love her so much, but when comparing her to Pink Charm, it just, they've really spoiled us with quality and the outcome production of that figure. And yeah, like I said before, that's just the standard now. I might be doing a part 2 way far into the future, just because I do have another 2 Naruto figures on pre-order. I've already mentioned the Limland one, which I'm excited for, and I also want to mention the Good Smell Company L, which was announced last weekend, and that one looks so good. That one looks so good. I think it looks better than the Pink Chum one as well. But anyway, overall, both of these Eves are great additions to my collection. I can't wait to expand my Naruto shrine, and let me know if you have either of these figures, or if you're debating between the 2, or if you prefer one over the other. That's all I have time for. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.